for Ninjas in Pyjamas?
Well, this is like a lot easier said than done, but you need to get out on the map and really shut down MIBR on the entry, or at the very least control the pace. If you let MIBR just run over you and take every single room that they want all the way up to the bomb site, you are going to fall. The bomb sites on defense are not really something you can hold on this map, so I think a lot of these rounds will be defined in the first minute and a half of the round rather than the last minute and a half of that round. That's what happened against TSM when they played Coastline against them yesterday. NIP, they fell, but they were challenging TSM early. They were really trying to claw their way in, shut TSM down, and set the tone. I have to do the same thing here, but better. Bans are coming out. It'll be a Twitch, Lion, and Valkyrie so far. So a target ban at F2, Lion, an operator that I think both teams were going to bring to the table anyway on this map. Valkyrie, that's the information game. NIP did not have any fun with that whatsoever on Cafe. And then Kite towards the very end, which is a bit more of an odd one, especially seeing as Thatcher is open. But it will just make your life a little bit easier if there is a wall that will be denied. Now you can guarantee clear them, or at the very least, you know it's a jammer or a bandit charge, which are a lot easier to deal with than a Kite Claw that could be hiding anywhere.
This is one of those rare instances where every single operator banned on this map is different from the previous map. So these are target bans towards certain players. These are also map-specific bans. I have no doubt that they banned out Twitch against the Gunners on MIBR, but additionally, because they can do certain setups now that allow that infinite range of the Twitch drone to not be as impactful on MIBR will be starting on attack. They did not pick this map. They get to pick the side that is an advantageous side on Coastline as of the moment. Obviously, we'd have to reference the tournament stats for it. But the one thing that Coastline has always had the distinction of since it entered the map pool was being a very friendly map to the attackers, more so than every other map in the pool.
Yeah, currently we're sitting on a 41% defensive win rate. So, it is attacker favored. It's doing pretty good, if you will.
That's a big difference, too. A lot of times we see like 45, 46% in favor of the defenders, but 40%, 41%, Nick?
It's the most attacker favored map in the entire map pool here at Invitationals. Only being played 12, however. It's in the bottom of that pool, same with Chalet. Both of these maps have seen 12 times, but, I mean, with Coastline right now, that'll make it 13, so depending on what happens in the stream next to us, well, maybe these are now tied up. Anyway, we are here on the map, on the server. It's a double bar defense to start things up. NIP doing a good job extending up above, still prepping side. A little bit late into the round here, but that should be okay. Unless MIBR rushes, you should be good. And they are spreading out on the map. That's what we spoke about. Win condition for NIP. You gotta shut down MIBR on the entries, not give them ground for free. At the very least, deny some drones and buy some time. That's what they're doing so far. Only one player inside of sight and 4 players out on the roam. Musi playing that middle ground between Pino, playing in lobby. Have a trifecta status. Julio in office as well. So that means in a triangle area, you got 3 different major assets on the map. 3 major rooms you need to care about. And MIBR doing good drone work. They have done the prep work. 2 drones inside the bathroom will drone out Pino. Yeah, he has a little bit of support from Musi from lobby, but that's it. So Pino, if you get taken down here, that will be a crucial position for you. You can hold the ground successfully. It'll be really good. Musi has impacts, can create more angles to help out Pino if they come to go for it. MIBR, they're not getting inside the building just yet, and that's really good. NIP, great start so far.
Oh, talk about a nice shot. Lucas had a couple of these. He had a drive-by earlier on to take out Pino, who looks longingly down the barrel of one of these guns, but Nip find the marks. All of a sudden, MIBR has cleaned out half the server. They sit in a 3v2, very close to being able to pull off and execute. And there you go. Fellapox is assessed. That sunrise bar is
so
open.
Free.
It's freer than North America, my friend. Musi and Julio far enough back as Fellapox gets the diffuser down. And now in the post plant, MIBR look to lock out the remaining members of Nip. Musi's the last one left. Julio dragged down. All eyes on the Malusi. Very far away from the bomb site. Sees Rayduct scamper away. Some hard breach being done to open up a window towards that diffuser. Deny Musi an opportunity as he hops over the bar to serve himself. He gets served by the end of the Zofia. First round goes to MIBR, and they continue their reign of terror from Cafe.
I'm excited for the replay if we get it because I'm not sure exactly what happened. It looked like from my standpoint that Pino just swung into MIBR instead of letting them come to him. And effectively, if you swing from that kitchen position on the Wamai, well, no one is really there to help you. You see here, you swing the person out and spawn outside the stock door. You had Muzi inside of lobby with impact grenades holding your cross so that when MIBR pushed in through stock, you have a crossfire. You have two different angles of engagement, but instead because you singled yourself out, well, you just die for nothing. And sure, NIP, they found 2 picks across the map other than that, but it was a 3 versus 2 with nobody on side. MIBR, they read the situation, they walked on in, started planting, and well, that's that. That's 1 attack round in the books, it's 1 opening kill, arguably for both teams with those trades being so quickly, and of course, a plant for MIBR. And that's just again, MIBR once more setting the tone. NIP, just like on the first round of Cafe, when Psycho jumped out the window at Valkyrie, tried to set the pace. But it becomes a freebie for MIBR. Same story here. Pino, he swung out from kitchen. He had magnets, he had a reinforcement, but he swings with a gun. He gets shot down. It's so easy for Luki to hit that shot. And then, well, you look like a fool, right? You had the crush, you had protection, you had a teammate, and you gave it all up because either impatience, greed, or just overconfidence, if you will.
Nib have continuously tried to engage on these roams and start things off with an opening pick, and have failed so many times. We referenced the numbers before we got into this map. Let's do it again. Of the 10 rounds that were played on Cafe, 8 of those 10 rounds, MIBR got the very first pick, and they were not traded back on any of those. Or those were definitive first picks that allowed MIBR to grow a lead from there.
And it's not just on Cafe. This is something that happens for every single map that NIP has played at this event. They are in one of the lowest areas of opening kill success on defense of every single team here. 37% of the time does NIP get the opening kill. That is really bad. The average is about 57, so 20% behind the curve. And on their attacks, they're not looking much better. So NIP, you need to start really making those statistics work differently, because otherwise, this will be a tough series.
It looks like most of NIP have fallen off now. It's a kitchen defense down below. There goes a nade from the bottom floor. I think that's Julio, the one credited with that. Tons of damage to Lukin, and now an explosive will hit. Nip finally break this streak that was going in favor of MIBR, and they get the very first pick onto Lukin, who got that beautiful shot. First pick was his in the previous round.
Yeah, now we're going to see MIBR slowing down. They've been doing this quite well in Cafe too, where when they don't have the advantage, when they lose out on that first pick, they take it nice and slow, they set up the next step, and they try to isolate and single out a player from NIP to try and even back the count. That's what they're doing right now, doing vertical inside of Hookah, getting open the hatch as well. Fall is going to be rotating, as he has been doing last round too. He starts on air of the map, then goes to the second, Raps almost finds the head, but it's not enough. That means NIP, they punish back another C4. Verticality really is the name of the game so far on Coastline. All that soft destruction is starting to show.
And there's some damage done to Philippox as well. First kill for MIBR comes on to Psycho. Still for MIBR, they've got that top floor control. Throwing in some of the flashbangs, Kamikaze isolated. Philippox coming online with his first kill of the match. Falls now looking for the remaining players of Ninjas in Pyjamas, who headed back to the bomb site. Just under 1 minute left to play. Both of these teams sit into a 3v3, though MIBR are going to be licking their wounds. Rayduck spotted Muzi. Nice shot by Muzi. He ends up coming out ahead, but he takes some damage in the process. Rayduck was the only player on MIBR, Nick, who had full HP. Now, it's just a couple bullets to silence the remaining players that are going to be walking into the bomb site, which Philippox has done. Diffuser in hand, and he doesn't know where they're playing. Pino's still inside of the lobby, outgunned by Falls. Another as well. Falls is on fire. 3 kills, and the Malusi will swing on him, but Falls pivots. I gotta see that one, as what an unbelievable play. Just looking over. Oh, you don't get to see it. We gotta show the people what just happened. That is a deflating round for Nip. Come on, production, you gotta bring it up. Here it is.
Go through the rounds, vertical Z4 comes out, the flank, kind of an odd angle to be holding, but Falls here, finds one, finds the second, and that's...
No!
We don't see the third
You
one!
just stopped it! You gotta show the people, man!
Oh,
you gotta show the people.
I'll explain it, okay? He was flicking back and forth between the rotating freezer and that bathroom door, and just the moment that he looks away from the bathroom door, where the Melusi swung from, well, she swings, starts shooting, Falls, takes damage, and outside the scope of the field of view that we could see, he somehow just flicks, finds the head, basically one bullet, takes him out, that's it. Falls, support flex player. You mentioned him at that tail end of Cafe. and he is really showing how much value he can bring, not just in the supporting area of the game, but the sheer entry we needed to. He walked up a hallway and took out 3 players back to back to back, and not just any players. These are the reigning world champions of NIP, some of the most fierce and lethal players in Rainbow Six current history, and it looked easy for him.
I'm being told that we're going to be bringing up the replay of that flick, by the way, so we'll stand tight. Here it is for you. Watch this. Watch. Oh, that was...
Oh, we don't have the other point of view.
Okay, well, I guess we don't have the end of round.
Well, you saw her kind of flick.
You got to see the end of round point of view. I don't know.
Either way, you see the kind of flick happen. It was extremely fast. Very nice shot from Falls. Good job. 5-0 right now on the scoreboard. And Psycho and NP now are looking to try and get into this situation of this opening kill advantage because they were active each and every single round. And last round on that kitchen defense, they actually found 2 opening picks, 2 C4s, 2 kills. That was a really great position to be in, but it wasn't enough because somehow, someway, in MIBR, they find their way back into the round. They slow down at the right moment and they speed up when they need to, really playing both paces.
Bit frustrating that we don't have access to that review replay, so hopefully I guess when they're available you get to look at them, but in the meantime we can just tell you that it's
a nice shot.
Yep.
It was.
Anywho, round number 3 now underway. MIBR, because of that play, Diffuser was going down in the process, so even if that kill doesn't go in favor of Falls, there's still another player up from MIBR that could hold on to the Diffuser. And what are you doing, Psycho? You walk down the main stairs to peek. If it's open, you see that somebody's there. Now Julio is gone as well. Nipper in free fall at this moment. MIBR making quick work of this. Musy's the next one up. Nice shot by Musy, losing 75% of his HP, drops the hatch immediately and gets out of there. The roaming Oryx is something that we see an awful lot on Coastline these days. And if you've got a low recoil gun like the T5 with a 1.5 scope, you're going to be able to do some significant damage. And look at that, the rotate from the Oryx. Kill from Pino equalizes into a 3v3 with half of the round to go.
That's that special passive of Oryx's gadget that you can jump up through hatches and really flank across the map vertically, which is extremely unique specifically for this operator, and he is, as we always say, the fastest operator in the game. The active use of the gadget, you just ram through walls or you just go through a hallway at enormous fast speed. And MIBR, we said it earlier, they know when to play it slow. They're doing it right now. They're setting up the situation, reading it out, and Pino gets impatient once again. I'm not sure if it's desperation or what it is, but you don't need to be moving. You have the bomb side. Nate comes out, doesn't land, and Kamikaze now tossing out those toxic babes. But you got 50 seconds to spare. MIBR, they're still in the driver's seat.
Musy is there, low on HP. No toxic canisters left, as you pointed out. Fellapox unaware of how close this Oryx is, and a pre-fire, but Musy capitalizes. It's Kamikaze to get it, and now it's all up to Musy. Impatience being the name of the game. For but a second, seeing the head on Cool Vibe stairs as now the Oryx will retreat on in. Nip looking against a 3-0 potential lead for MIBR. They need a good performance from Musy at the moment, but there's a lot of angles for him to cover. He knows there's somebody on Cool Vibe stairs, but he's got Corey Art and he's got Hookah Belk, but he's still looking.
Team so far at this event, you get those deployable shields on the attacking side of things. You can block a window, jump out, you can assess the bomb side. You can kind of play like a mini Munty or mini Blitz where you can walk around the shield in your hands, scout for information, and because you have 2 of them, you can put one down, you still have a second to use actively, you can always pick them back up if you're OSA and then relocate them or reposition them. It'll be interesting to see how MIBR they plan to use this operator because you can do it in multiple ways. Double bar. Back and back again. This is where we started, by the way. 4th round.
The only good look for Nip so far was on that 2nd round, by the way.
It was.
And it came off of the Falls clutch. Clutches can have such a profound impact on your mental ability to stay in the game because they are very demoralizing. Look at Kansan's clutch yesterday.
Oh boy.
One of the best clutches that we've seen at this event. And I've already seen the conversation online as to how that clutch stacks up in the history of Rainbow Six. I'll let them decide that. I'm not really interested in ranking it. But as remarkable as it was from Kansan, who did all of that in jeans, by the way, as was talked about on Twitter.
Yeah, it was like denim jeans.
Yeah. When you clutch like that, it almost always needs an assist from your opponents. If a team plays a 1v4 properly and they are the 4, it's unlosable.
Yes.
It really should be unlosable, especially if you can establish yourself in a position where you've got a perfect crossfire, because there's no way somebody can pivot that way. But when Falls pulls that off, again, players from NIP taking 1v1v1 engagements, then that can break your spirit. Almost the very first pick on the Psycho. They've got him right now, along with Julio, inside of office. Raps walks in to toss out a grenade. Julio has not been dislodged from his position, still stuck at the moment. They could head up through security and then put 2 players in that line of sight. Musy's from above to support. That's going to be a big focus for Nip. Like it, he falls off. Defense heavily upstairs over top of the double bars bomb site, as we talked about.
Yeah, and MIBR choosing not to challenge. So droning out office and seeing, is Julio still there? And in fact, he is. And it's a well done job for Julio because he avoided the nades and he didn't really die. And that means that MIBR, they cannot get the entry that they so desired. It'll be Raps creeping around, but he's very low on health. Reduct, using that Osa now instead of Solarium, or Sauna as we call it actually. Just walking through that gate onto side, gonna, I'm not sure, put down his shield, try and stay alive. There it is, Raps gets a kill onto Julio, but there's 2 more from NIP. Kamikaze and Osa cannot fight, but he falls the shield instead, and that's just a bit of a, I don't want to say blunder, but a weird situation to be in. 1v4 for Falls.
MIBR gave up that round really quickly and fell off, and now Nip don't even really have to move much of a muscle or sweat. Nice kill from Falls. Firing up the war machines, but 3 more bodies for him. He clutched last time, but it doesn't look like it's going to be doable this time at all. 7-0, by the way, for Falls through these 4 rounds, and it becomes 7-1 as Pino shuts the door on a comeback from MIBR. Nip find their very first round after the timeout, and Mighty doing his best to just hype up a team that does not look happy to be here.
He's trying really hard. Every time we see the NIP player camps and Mithy really walking behind them, their coach fist bumping, trying to get them inside the VIP, and we see face of defeat really, even though you just won a round, and that is the beginning of what should be or could be the comeback on Coastline. And sure, if you're NIP and you win Coastline, you gotta go to a 3rd map all the way to Bank. That's many, many rounds ahead of us, but basically what that means is that it's a very long road ahead to take this series. Reduct said, I wasn't really happy with my performance on Osa in the last round, and honestly, I can understand why, because it was just really odd. He walked straight through the Aruna gate, took 30 damage, and then he just put down his shield on side, then vaulted the shield into nothing and died from Kamikaze in the pink bar, and a little bit questionable. So we're gonna try again, and I think it makes good sense. I feel like when you try an operator that's a little bit more niche, and it doesn't work for a single time, you say, you know what, let's go off it. It's not worth it. Honestly, it is. Give it 2, give it 3 rounds max. If it doesn't work, sure, at least you've actually properly given it a good go. But remember, MIBR, they do need to get more attacking rounds. A 3-3 side swap is arguably a failure, or not a great thing to be in if you are starting on the attacking side.
Proxy alarms go off as well. If you can stop MIBR's ability to get into the map and collect these first kills and punish you for it, then Nip seems to find their chances rise quite a lot, whether it be in this series or whether it be in Cafe earlier on. The problem is that Nip is peaking dry. They are continuously looking for intel and then getting punished for it, and that honestly is credit to MIBR being prepared and ready for this. But Nip having some struggles to find that information. I don't know if bringing intel operators is really something that they want to do. Obviously, with Valkyrie being banned, that is a huge intel operator that is unavailable for them.
Yeah, all really got is the Echo, which we have seen in the past, and it makes sense because if Echo is safe on side, you can really move those yokais around. You can maybe keep one close nearby for side information, keep that second one for the roam. It'll grant you some information. You can even dedicate it to a specific player saying, oh, drone this room for me, and I'll follow the drone. Kind of like if you're playing on attack, but on the defense. And NIP, they're still spreading themselves thin. They're holding map control. They're actually doing a really good job at contesting MIBR. They're not getting what they want, so MIBR had to get scrappy. They gotta go somewhere else and find a different way into the map. And right now, that's Lukid, of all players, who's inside security with one friend behind him. Musi, kinda stuck on his white stairs, can of course walk up, but certainly cannot walk down because then Lukid might just find him. He walks on down, but Lukid misses. That's a rare sight to see. Musi looking to get active, but doesn't want to challenge too much because they understand that they have the advantage, they got the map control. In MIBR, they have to make the first move.
You absolutely do, you're right. This is the same pattern that Musi always goes with. Go upstairs, pop the hatch in security. If you drop, they'll hear you. That very first kill of the very first round is all Luke has to his name, Nick, and that's not ideal. The leg of the Oryx drawn out, but there's a spam ping behind him. Musi could have gone for the pinch. Instead, maybe a drop into security is just what the doctor ordered. Still, we're riding along with Musi. This has been what the big focus is on this spot. Still there. But there's a site to execute onto. Everybody is still upright right now. Second attempt at Kitchen, and I gotta say, the last time Nip went here, they looked really good. It was the false clutch that really won it out. There's some damage being done to Lukid, and now Musi is finished off by Falls. MIBR, the opening pick, immediately answered back, but then swiftly retraded, with Psycho going down to Raps after taking out Rayduct. Once again, MIBR with this upper hand. 40 seconds to go. These three players from Nip, relatively off-site. There's one from Kamikaze, heating up potentially. MIBR looking for a decisive win on this first half. Lucan inside of the main lobby. There's some dilly-dallying from MIBR at the moment as essentially a reset happens before an execute can come in. Odd pacing from their team as to what they want to do. You've also got Pino on the roam who's now going for the flank. There's Falls on that roll. Down goes Kamikaze, and Julio off-site with a single kill to his name will need to hit 4 in order to win out on the round. Potentially even 1 kill if he can stop Fellabox in his tracks. There's an impact grenade, but he gets swung on, and Lucan picks up a big and pivotal kill. First half will go in favor of MIBR with 1 more round to play.
I will say, the read on a flank there from MIBR, they had 15 seconds left, and they're standing still waiting for the flank to come through. They get the pick, they make it in their numbers advantage, then they go to side afterwards, because had they gone to side first, well, then the flanker becomes a problem. Very well read from them, and early in that round, the opening kill that happened on the side of MIBR, it was Lukid inside of lobby, kind of challenging Musi, was hiding with that Oryx inside security. And Falls rotated all the way across the map to office double door, walked into office and came in behind Musi and took him out together with Lukid. MIBR really playing the map extremely well. They're basically using every single second available to them. It's getting really close some rounds, but as long as it works, you can't fault them for it. Penthouse will be going through the full bomb site rotation with this NIP showing us that they can go everywhere on this map. And Penthouse has seen, well, some seasons it sees a crazy amount of play, and then some seasons you never see it. But there was a rework recently to this map, namely inside of VIP. You now got 2 reinforceable walls to the outside of the building. Last time we saw this map, or previously before the rework, those weren't there. It makes VIP more accessible. You can deny the walls, you can play a bandit, play a mute, play a Kaid, etc. We don't see it this time around, but it is a possibility. And with this change, we've seen more teams go to Penthouse and try and make it work. And it's seen, well, mixed results, if I would have to guess. I can check the stats right now, and as we see here, Penthouse Theater actually is the most defender-favorite bomb site on this map, 62% win rate, but only played 13 times. So it is one of those niche bomb sites. You gotta come in with a plan, and then execute that plan. If you do it successfully, well, you will win. But that means that teams are typically more prepared for exactly what they want to do, because, well, you can't just wing this one, I don't think. It requires too much setup. We see Fellabox open up that VIP wall, but it's not for an entry, it's just for an angle. Those holes are way too far up on that wall. It'll be a rappel angle, if anything. Basically meaning it's kind of like a one-way where attackers can look in, but defenders, they can't look out to that same amount.
Well, well, well. A fateful final round, and again, this is NIP's map. We like to contextualize it so far. Nip picked this map and have played it so far 3 times through this event. They only have a single win on it, which might seem a little odd to those of you watching. Why would you go to a map where you lost to Empire 2-7, you lost to TSM yesterday 5-7, and you barely beat the Sonics 8-6? I mean, I guess the loss to TSM was a little bit close, just as the win over SQ was, but unless you think that MIBR have some major deficiencies here, all of a sudden this becomes as good of a map for you as it was, then it seems like a suspect decision. Nitro Cell goes out, down goes Rayduct. As we talk about the strategy as to why Nip picked this, the very first pick does go in their favor. That's ideal on their end.
Yeah, remember going for a more direct approach right now. We did see Rayduct drop that bathroom hatch, and now we see a Gemini to follow, takes out the Renegade. Nade from below, almost finds Pino, does a ton of damage, and MIBR, they're clearing out the shields and the utility. They've taken that guitar control and bathroom. They're planting now. All of a sudden, somehow Philipbox is inside the bomb site, and the bomb actually goes down.
In the corner, and now a post plan, a quick scramble. MIBR have their ducks in a row, and I didn't know what we were watching there, but because you ever get killed so hard, you get banished to a cam outside the building, because that's what happens with ninjas in pajamas. Holy hell in a handbasket here, Nick. It's 5-1 MIBR. NIP are 2 rounds away from being sent out of Sweden on a plane.
I thought that round was going to be slow. It looked like it, right?
It sure
and all
did.
Of a sudden, Philipbox in the bomb site starts planting. 7 seconds fly by. Successful plant from MIBR and NIP. That early C4, it did get the opening kill. But then you have to ask yourself, well, where's the C4 that's supposed to take out the planter? What happens with the bomb deny? Once Philipbox gets in, how do we then clear him out? Well, it looked like that round from the little that we saw, there wasn't really any response. Or if there was, well, then MIBR shut it down because I didn't see any. Now we're going to see the side swap come out. It'll be MIBR on the defense, and they'll have to show us if they have what it takes to take down NIP. We'll have to argue that NIP gotta get the exact same side swap as MIBR did. The 5-1 situation here takes us to 6-6 OT. So we can very easily compare the round differentiation between being a tagger favorite or not. And NIP against TSM, I believe it's very similar story. TSM were up 5-1 or 6-1 for quite some time. But ultimately, as you said, Parker, it was a 5-7 loss to TSM. So we'll see if NIP can do it all the way this time. We're starting double bar. Same story as NIP. They also chose that bomb site was their most successful, arguably. They did manage to lose it. Or sorry, there was only bomb site that NIP won the second time around, not the first. So yeah, this bomb site is the only one that's been won for Defenders so far.
Well, it's the only defensive win as well. So, I mean, how much can we really... To be fair, it's a 5-1 half where MIBR are so dominant. NIP, again, burning their timeout. Same round as we saw in Cafe all the way back in round number 3. So, again, if NIP finds themselves losing the plot of this half, they've already lost the plot of this map, and they need to pull off a 5-1 half just to secure overtime. That is very tough to do. Very, very tough to do.
I like the Nomad. It's actually being brought off from NIP. It's something that MIBR banded away on Cafe, and then they jumped out loud on their defense. This time, Julio can play the operator, can make sure that these kinds of runouts can be covered if you put the air jabs in the right position. And we saw MIBR on Cafe. They got extremely aggressive in that early round. They know that opening kills are arguably in their favor. There is no air jab, there is no opponent, door gets barricaded again. You don't want to give NIP that open entry, so barricading doors is certainly something you can do on this map. And NIP doing a similar fashion of that of MIBR, playing it slow, taking map control, droning it out. They do not want to be the first one to lose a player. They need momentum.
Well, the opening picks have actually been quite even, straight down the line. 3 for both teams apiece. There goes Lukin on the roam. The Oryx was roaming so effectively for Ninjas in Pajamas. Musi had 2 more bodies on Cool Vibe stairs lined up with Pino there as well, but neither could find a single kill as MIBR will now scramble back into the bomb site below. Some of the floor being opened up in pings as well for Rayduck to play off of, but he's unsuccessful in what he can accomplish. Kamikaze there.
That's unlucky.
A moment of silence, please. All right, we may be good to go. Philipbox blows himself up with a nitro cell. Maybe he just really didn't want to play this round. I don't...
I mean, it is a bad round because, like, once the stall gets broken up from the attackers, there's nowhere safe to be. I mean, Falls here in this default position of pink, that's the only location that you will just not get absolutely destroyed from above. And as time is ticking down, well, we see MIBR. They're leaving the bomb site because there's nowhere to play. And now you gotta wonder, well, MIBR, how are you going to come back? Is there a flank? Is there a C4? Is there a crazy play happening somewhere? No, it's just 3v5, and you're scrambling to find the opening here. And NIP, they're not giving it to you. They're playing it nice and tight and slow. So far, that is working out very well for them.
Oh, and there you go. MIBR finally get on the board. The sledge of Pino taking some damage, but a misplay from Rayduck, not looking as to where the sledge was. As you said, once that floor gets taken away, you have nowhere to sit. Falls an equalizer onto Psycho, but still the numbers favor Ninjas in Pajamas with nades going on down. Trapped in the corner is Falls. It's Raps to clutch, bursting into the bomb site. Diffuser going in the common spot from the courtyard. It's Julio to get the final kill. NIP have struggled on this map, but finding a round or two to start off this half is exactly the momentum that they need to grab hold of.
And they got the opening kill. They really had everything going for them. They got the map control super early with a double kill advantage. They did a ton of vertical play. They cleared MIBR off the side. Really good nade from Pino there. Arguably won in the round. Allowed himself to drop the hatch into lounge and really start accessing the bomb side. And that was that. Now we're going to see what MIBR can do in response, right? We said it earlier, you cannot play passive on Coastline. The bomb site itself does fall every single round. There's no strategical way to really win a single bomb site on this map. Maybe if that's your banned and you got a Kaid, you can trick that VIP what we spoke of earlier. But when you're defending kitchen, there is no real way for you to be like, oh, sit in this corner, cast a barricade that window, shoot over here, now we win unless they mess up. No. If they get top floor control and all they get lobby control, they do verticality, well, it's over. Because you have to evacuate the one thing you have to defend, the bomb site, to be alive. If you stay, well, with the entire floor being broken open, you will eventually get found out or droned out and then shot down and you're dead. That's also why we see teams often extend our ball, reinforcing the hatch here as well, meaning that once NIP takes control top floor, we'll have to breach the hatch to gain that angle to drop down into the lobby. Kamikaze, bringing out that Ibana, can breach tons of walls, tons of hatches, is the most dynamic or versatile heart breach operator in the game. You also get 3 flashbangs as well, and that's something that you always want because projectiles are great, clearing ADSs, my discs, etc.
All right, so Ninjas in Pyjamas, a mighty fine first start to the round. MIBR kept it somewhat competitive, but then ultimately lost out. After that very first pick and then the snowball that happened, it was tough for MIBR to once again find their footing. This was something that was touched upon before we actually got into this map, was that Cafe can be a very free-flowing map. It can be quite good for the defenders, especially if they roam effectively, but the problem is that if your roam doesn't do well, you can't waste as much time on Coastline. It's not as big of a map.
Can't.
And if you lose out on the roam, your anchors are sitting ducks on most sites. Whereas on Cafe, there are a couple bomb sites where the anchors are still perfectly equipped to pull off a late round clutch.
Not the case here. Opening kill very much matters, and the first minute and a half also dictates the rest of the game, because if you can stop the attackers from entering, well, that's one of your easiest ways to buy time and win the round. And MIBR, they're actually falling back really early. Both of these first defending rounds, the second IP, they start assessing their area on the map. Well, they give it to them. They fall back to the next room, but NIP, they only want a few rooms. That's all they need. Then they start verticality, and then you start winning as an attacker. They got VIP, they got Pendas, now we see Pino with half the round to go, start to work on that floor.
Smashing above now is, again, the sledge is so crucial. Watch out for nitro cells that can get tossed out. They need to be a little bit better than Fellapox.
No C4s.
I was going to say, he didn't bring a C4 this time, so I don't think you need to worry too much about blowing yourself up. That's very smart to essentially, child-proof the bomb site.
Yeah.
Half the round down, the sledge still upstairs, and you don't often see a sledge run out of hammer swings, but Pino is getting to a point where he's below half and could find himself losing out on them. Oh, there's a ping on to Lukin, who gets away. Pino doesn't want to re-engage. You've got a job to be done with a minute to go. You cannot dawdle and spend your time wasting it on an Oryx.
Yeah, we only see one player from MIBR on side that's false. 4 players roaming, still trying to hold on to this last few areas of the map, but Moosey says that doesn't matter. LMG in hand takes out Redock, and that opens up the round for NIP.
All of a sudden, NIP finding the score sheet with 2 big kills to open it up, as you said. Raps is the next one in the line of sight on Cool Vibes. Staring down a battle of the death against Musey. Nice shot from Musey, a slow peek. Lukin with one on a Kamikaze, but he's the last man standing. Can't get anything onto the Nomad of Julio. Diffuser is down. Lukin is in a terrible spot. A tenuous hold. 1 HP is all he has. And he gets swatted away by Psycho. Nipbar a little bit excited by this. You hear a cry from the player area. And suddenly, this is a much closer matchup. The attackers absolutely crushing right now. They've won all but a single round on Coastline.
Welcome to defending on Coastline. It is not a very fun job to have, especially if you got SMG-11 shotgun, because you're up against such good guns from the attacking side. I remember, back when I was a player, the one map I despised the most to play was Coastline, despite having a team success on the map, because the role that I had was to play the smoke, was to play the mute, and you just find yourself sitting in a corner thinking, oh, it's going to be one of those rounds again. My roamers are dead. We're playing 5v3. The floor above me is getting opened up very quickly, and I can't do anything about it. I have to stay on the bomb site because if I evacuated, well, they'll just walk on in for free and start planting. But if I stay, I also know that I will not be here for much longer because, well, I will die eventually. So it really comes down to the early round. Can the roamers get something done? I mean, you can play 4 people offside just like MIBR did, but you need to find somewhere on the map to hold on. They started inside a theater, but the moment NIP dropped the bathroom hatch and walked into guitar, they ran away. They gave the ground up, and they really didn't choose anywhere on the map to fight. It was very much like an NIP getting close to side, finding kills on their way. But if you fortify a specific location, like we see now with the MIBR, VIP getting reinforced, that's much, much better. Something you arguably should have done in the previous round. Now in IP, they have to problem solve, either rotate somewhere else, not attack this side of the map, or if they do, they gotta figure out, well, now there's a mirror window. Okay, let's use Ibana. Oh, now there's a mutant on the mirror window. We need to get a nade from below. And you're creating all these issues in their path that is much more bigger than just gunplay, hit a headshot, walking through a door with confidence, and that is how you're gonna get them. The more obstacles you can put in the path of your enemy, the higher are the chances of you winning the round.
All right, another bomb site now for MIBR, who have really failed to figure out a defense. You have to think that if this doesn't go well, MIBR calls a timeout here or their next round just to try to figure out what's going to go on. You don't want your team sinking into that quicksand a little bit too much. You've shown on both Cafe and now here on Coastline as well that you can be the better team. You do not want NIP finding their footing, and that's exactly what NIP is starting to do. Their players are waking up. You've had a much better performance from Pino. Instead of going 1-9, he's sitting on 7-5. And has found space on this team while also doing his job on these 2 rounds on attack. Sledge is a very crucial operator because of the abundance of soft destruction on this map. You're going to be going through walls, you're going to be going through floors, dropping nades down to clear utility, while also moving those defenders off of the common spots. As long as you can dodge what is beneath, whether it be a nitro cell, gunfire, etc., that Sledge is going to continue to be one of the most important operators on this map. Pino's doing a good job.
It's really good from Redot, by the way. All the way back in Akor is peeling off these Ibana X Kairos, allowing Falls to play on this vase position. Both impacts have been used. It was a direct-ish take from NIP. They cleared out the shield. They want to get this wall really badly. And they spent 12 X Kairos so far with 6 to go. And successful defense from MIBR with 1 minute and 15 left to go. It's looking better for them, but NIP, they haven't shown up yet. They will choose their moment to get really aggressive, and then the round will be over very quickly for one side or the other. A slight rotation from NIP as Musi will try and figure out where he wants to go next. We got 3 players on that hookah balcony, 1 big window repel, and Musi coming up the white stairs, so split take, if anything, from NIP.
Luca is posted up on those stairs as you talked about, waiting for somebody to walk up, and we can see the silhouette. Musi was so good at the slow peek before. There goes Raps to a grenade from Psycho. It does not force either player to budge right now. And there goes Musi, taken out by Rayduct. Luca doesn't need to be in this position. Down goes Fellapox. The action happening. 30 seconds. Most of it off screen at the moment. Fall still posted up by the bomb site. Third time's a charm maybe for MIBR, but Nipper just slicing right through them like a soft knife. Hot knife through butter, and there he goes. A double from Kamikaze. Julio, one of his own as well.
To appear, but it has indeed appeared. So if anything, this series starts now. With both teams being happy and smiling on their faces, I would say that we are now in the prime position to watch a great game of Rainbow Six Siege, because if the players are having fun, I'm having fun, and then we're all winning. But of course, besides this stat, we gotta see good gameplay. We saw that really well played Cafe from MIBR. They had a good first start to Coastline, but as we all know, it is an attacker-sided map. NIP looking a lot cleaner on their attacking side than that of their defensive as expected. MIBR, going back to bar, is the only bomb set that's won by defenders, as Parker stated earlier, but that was NIP who won that defense. MIBR have yet to win a single one since the side swap. It's been 3 opening kills, going to NIP, and 3 rounds as well.
I don't know exactly what you need to do to get your team back in this, but a lot of the things that MIBR were doing well on Cafe have not materialized here. They're not roaming effectively. NIP are not face-checking angles the way that they were when they were on defense, so maybe it just is an information game that we're seeing unfold. These teams could be totally starved for info and playing blind most of these rounds. That's entirely possible, and it sure seems like in a lot of these engagements that the defenders just simply don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, they're just sitting there, right? Kind of waiting for NIP to make the first move, and I do think you're right. I do think that there is a lack of information. You got the proximity mines on multiple defenders, you know, Raps on the Wamai and Luke on the Oryx, but you don't have any actual concrete visual information. No bulletproofs being brought out, no yokais, of course Valkyrie's banned, so you're going to be guessing, well, what is going on? Where is NIP? And you're only really going to get what they show you. And they're playing their cards kind of close for that exact reason.
Oh, opening up the wall, and there goes a grenade now as well. NIP again starting off with another opening pick. They have been flawless on this second half in terms of getting that, and because of it, they now lead in opening picks 7-3. A good, strong start for them. Rap's position inside of Sunrise Bar, throwing out the 2 magnets to protect him from any grenades that might come on in. NIP will now put Pino upstairs with that sledgehammer in hand.
Could have used that magnet earlier.
Could have absolutely used that magnet earlier to maybe keep Falls alive. Falls has been the standout performer for his team, a number of clutches, playing on operators that are not always the focal point for their teams. On defense, playing much safer, often sheltered roles. On attack, playing that secondary flex role, droning his teams in, taking some time, etc. I like what Falls has been able to put together, but the fact that Felipox is 3-5 on this map, I will say playing much more of a support role, is not ideal for the team. Rayduck has not been particularly good either on roles that necessitate killing.
No, and I mean, Falls is one of those, like, support at day, clutch god at night kind of player, and we see that from the likes of him and Souls from FaZe, but right now, Felipox, you know, gonna be walking around fearing again every single window, respecting the fact that there might be a player from NIP up there, or out there rather. Limited vertical play this time around. NIP is mainly on the first floor of things, and Felipox trying to get up those cooler stairs. The same action MIBR did last time when they found one pick and they got traded back. But right now, it's vacant. There's no one really up here. There's one side beside a pool table. That's a nice shot from Felipox to really even back the score.
Pino will be sitting there thinking his own thoughts as now Muzi walks in. There goes the Banshee, making some noise. Kamikaze gets traded out as Psycho gets dropped. There's Lucan and Rayduck as well. MIBR's timeout is paying dividends. It leaves Kamikaze to clutch in a 1v3, but the clock will be his biggest adversary, as will Felipox from above. If the timeout buys you a single round, at least you've guaranteed overtime. It is impossible for NIP to send MIBR away in regulation, so though we have 2 more rounds to go, for both of these Brazilian teams, if MIBR wants to go out, you got to do it now. For NIP, you have a longer road to go. At minimum, 4 more rounds you need to win in order to just push us to bank.
I feel like NIP might have overcomplicated that round. You know, they could have done the same working formula as the last time, and especially because the opening kill from Pino with that grenade, it was False. That's a smoke player. That's like the only real side deny once you start planting. But they overcomplicated things. They got top floor control, they did the verticality, but then they left it. Sledge was staying up above, he got taken out by Felipox as we saw, but they didn't make use of it. They even breached the wall on Sauna into bomb site default plant position. They didn't use it. They were elsewhere on the map, outside on blue window, flanking kitchen, when I would argue they could have just walked on in, started planting, held the ground, used the vertical angles that they did the last time around, and had that same kind of success. But NIP, they read the situation differently. Maybe a lack of information, not knowing exactly where the pieces were, and that's okay. But now we are on this match point, series point situation where MIBR, they gotta find one more. And right now, they're gonna try and make Hookah that bomb site. They have played it before. It did not really go that well. They tried to defend it. It was NIP going Hookah balcony, tried to breach the walls, clear the shields, etc. But ultimately, it was Pino's grenades the last 3 rounds in a row to find the opening pick. He's really showing up after an abysmal performance on Cafe. Pino, well done, buddy. Keep going.
All right, well, upstairs to cocktail, no penthouse or theater on the menu at all for MIBR. The double bar bomb site still having that distinction of being the only bomb site that has been won by the defenders. Nice drone work, and there you go. Rayduck gets spotted, and the Vigil, almost as if he has a gadget to prevent him from getting taken out. Well, he's as good as gone. Again, NIP with these opening picks. So far, 5 through this second half.
I mean, Vigil was like proning next, almost on top of that drone. It's just really unfortunate. He probably didn't check the corner when he laid there. And, well, this is kind of the story from MIBR. They're trying to play in these, like, passive corners. And sometimes it works, but right now in Coastline defense, it hasn't worked a single time. And NIP, every single opening kill since the side swap.
Oh, they'll go 2 of the magnets, 3 of the flashbangs get tossed on in, and Falls has to scoot away from his position. Not able to play as confidently as he wants. It's a lot of utility burned by Nip, and because they are magnets, they're not going to be coming back. So you don't have any real ability to prevent that again. Nice impact grenade by Falls. Takes a little bit of damage, but at least gets the X-Kairos that we're trying to pick away at the reinforcement right next to him. Still under fire on Cool Vibe stairs. There goes a drone as well. Nades primed and ready. And it goes. Raps blown up from below. Again, the smoke taken out by a nade. MIBR have yet to find a single player from Nip.
No, you're just playing in default positions. You make it too easy to nade you out. No yellow ping, no drone needed. NIP are just so good at knowing those common spots from down below. They've been studying the floor, which really helps you out when the grenades are so lethal.
Now Falls is pushed up to watch the doorway upstairs at Hookah, and he sees the Hibana, but is unsuccessful. I'll have too many angles to watch. There's a Gemini. Bodies being thrown his way. One on the window, one on Cool Vibe stairs, now taken up. And it's Muzi to assert some dominance here. He's got a big play and a cross as well to boot, so nobody can go from VIP to the bomb site. Julio under fire. That's the rat-a-tat-tat of Lukid all the way back inside of Aqua. Now Falls stunned out. Muzi is collapsed upon by Felipox, but traded back. Nip finding everybody but Lukid in a 1v4 to win the map for his team. He gets a kill on the Psycho, beautifully done. Julio is on 1 HP. Diffuser going down in the hands of Kamikaze, but Lukid is really trapped. And there's Julio to seal the deal. We're gonna need 12 rounds. Suddenly, Nip in a much better position to push this into overtime.
Okay, well, 6-5. NIP looking alive, I will say. And I can hear them as well, so that's boding really well for them. Much like you mentioned, desperation from NIP when they went to Penthouse. Well, while you guys watch the replay and this beautiful nade from down below, once again from Psycho, not Pino this time, they're also hovering the Penthouse bomb site. So is this an act of desperation, or do you have an ingenious plan to make this bomb site work? Well, Felipox bringing the mirror makes really good sense. This is like the classic operator that you argue that you need for this bomb site to really work. Of course, there are multiple ways to play around it. Of course, Kamikaze has the Hibana. You have verticality from lobby if the mirror window is inside of the theater itself. So, NIP had to do a little bit of tinkering, a little bit of problem solving. Last time when MIBR they set up this entire defense on Penthouse VIP, it was not challenged by NIP. They did not want it. But this time it's the bomb site. They have to. And we have yet to see this kind of attack coming out from NIP. It's been very simply focusing upon the grenade kills, right? The opening kill itself has been so important, been prioritized for them, and they've gotten it each and every single round since the side swap. It's a very, very different story than that of Cafe. NIP looking so much better, doing so much better. We still gotta go this round, go into OT. Then NIP has to win 2 out of 3 rounds to take the map. Then we go to bank. Similar mirror windows, exact same ones we saw the last time. Gonna be defending VIP and the bomb site itself. They also have 1 C4, 2 C4 to deny the plant, and they have Falls on the smoke. So if you do not lose important players to those grenades like you did the previous rounds, MIBR, you're looking good. But if NIP gets these openings with the grenades again, well, it's going to be the exact opposite, and you're going to have a really bad time. Wall gets opened.
VIP wall getting opened up immediately. That's 6 of the 18 X-Kairos that are used on the wall. Still 2 full sets available for Kamikaze. It's also forced the player that we saw from MIBR out of VIP. But on this position, you see Rap sitting. There's a mute jammer right in front of him to give a lack of information for the attackers. Intel has been the name of the game. Also, a Mira in play. This is the nice pocket strat that you see pulled out with the matchup on the line for MIBR. It's more dire straits for Nip. Keep that in mind as they are the team that currently trails.
Curious what exactly Psycho is doing on that rappel, because he's like kind of sitting and waiting and watching with none of the windows really being open. But regardless, NIP opting for a clear from the Hookah side, making the way on through, and they'll be doing a roam sweep. This makes sense because otherwise you gotta face those minnows head on, but no, it's Luke to fall first. Kamikaze gets the opening pick. Had Luke gotten that operator, that's the only hard breach off the board from NIP. Huge kill. It's a gamble, but it doesn't work out in favor. 5v4, once again NIP gets the opening kill each and every single time.
What a dominant second half for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They've now got every single opening pick the entire way down, and they've got 4 of the 5 rounds that have been concluded. Another one would be that 5-1 score scoreline, as we talked about, which is a rarity, but something that we've actually seen a few times more at this event than I feel like we've seen in seasonal play. That league play, obviously, a little bit different. There's a Nitro Cell, and it just misses onto Psycho. Both he and Kamikaze are low. This means that when they go for the defuse plant, a bullet or two would be enough to kill them. Also, Fall still has all 3 of those toxic canisters in pocket, which means that that can very easily take down Psycho or even Kamikaze. On Kamikaze in particular, you're not going to be anywhere near close to getting that diffuser planted with that level of HP.
Time is taken, Parker. 40 seconds left. NIP can feel the pressure. They're playing it much more slow, much more safe, and it might just bite them because there are still 4 players to defend, but
they dropped in bathroom right now. MIBR about to get swept off of their feet as Nip are there and ready. Now they're down below inside of the bomb site. Pino's still in there. Toxic gas lingering in front of his face. Black Mirror has been forfeited at this point, but Rayduct and Falls looking from this long angle. A swing from the Echo here might not be a smart plan. There goes Falls to Kamikaze. Overtime very much in play. The Echo lines up with 1. Can't get more than that. It's all on Felipox. Now dropped by an air jab. Kamikaze successfully getting the diffuser down. A flawless 12th round from Nip. They're finally fired up, and in this match, it was a 5-1 scoreline for MIBR. Now they're the team in free fall.
all right. Well, I guess the big question now is who gets attacking side start, because looking at the numbers here, that seems to be the very heavy favor. And you guys can see it, so I'll let you guys wait for just a second here. But would you look at that? It will be NIP continuing their streak on the attack with MIBR on the defense. That means that NIP will get 2 attacking rounds if they can win the first. And MIBR, opposite story, 2 defenses. So, while you get to choose the opening side, well, you don't get to choose the overtime starting side. That will be the choice of the person who picks the map. And that, of course, was NIP. So MIBR, you get a good start. You get the side you want, but you get what could be a very harsh ending because of that.
Oh my. Not ideal for you at all. And, well, you got a feel for MIBR. They used their timeout. They won a single round off of it. 2 5-1 halves on Coastline.
Yep.
That is an absolutely dominant map for the attackers. 10-2 in favor of the attack at the moment. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Nip getting 2 rounds on attack in overtime. That might be the ballgame.
It very well might be, and both teams, or rather neither team, has really been able to break apart, well, what is the success that we're missing, or rather the key to success that we're missing, because I wouldn't really go as far as to say that MIBR has tried that many different things. They've tried the mirror setup, they've tried without the mirror setup, but the one thing that they've been keeping up, which is a bad thing I think, is that they keep taking these 1-versus-1 gunfights. On that previous round of Penda's defense, when Luke had flanked Cooler Stairs, there was no follow-up. You could have timed the C4 from below while walking up the staircase, basically slow down the focus from NIP so that they don't all just turn to Cooler Stairs and take that 50-50, but no, you just walk up, no C4 comes out, you take the gamble, you lose the gamble, you lose the round. It's not good. Luke it again, roaming alone with no help in sight, but this time around, nobody from NIP is there to respond either. Redoc doing the same thing in Penthouse. It's a kitchen defense. MIBR, can you hold the ground? Can you find confidence in the round? Because otherwise NIP will take the ground and they will eventually try and work their way to the bomb site. We're standing still, we're droning, we're checking, we're breaching walls. NIP being methodical right now. Not something that I would use to describe them typically, but they're showing their strategical side and problem-solving skills right now.
They absolutely are, and they've opened up one of these walls. MIBR have surrendered the opening pick every single round on defense, Nick. Every single round. That is, well,
it's wild.
That's not good, is what it is. You don't need to be a color commentator to dissect the stats on that one. If MIBR can either just stay alive, really, just stay alive, your odds of winning the round soar. And there you go. The very first time we see MIBR get an opening pick on defense, and now Pino is downed as well. That looks like it was a Nitro Cell that went off. Pino can crawl to safety. Will there be a follow-up? Is there any information as to whether or not they've been able to take out the sledge? Additionally, of all the operators to down, the sledge is so crucial. Looks like Pino should be retrieved. It's a scramble from Velapox to try to get back up top onto that top floor. Psycho greets him, and now Pino is back as well. Spam pings on in, and that forces MIBR to scramble. They might have got the opening pick, but Nip have immediately pivoted, and they are in good spots.
In fact, NIP are arguably in the advantage now because both Lukid and Raps are so low on health. Sure, Pino is as well, but they have no way to respond. They have one impact left from Redark, no C4. So if that one impact can do some damage and maybe take down Pino, that'll be a great round situation for you. But as long as he's alive, well, gonna be in for a bad time.
Not exactly a great one. There's an air jab that goes off as well. Julio knows that there's somebody up top, and that's good enough information for him. This is a kitchen defense. No team has won on this bomb site on defense. We'd like to remind you the double bar is the only bomb site where it's worked out. Nice shot from Kamikaze, or well, it actually looked like Psycho was the one who got that shot, just the kill feed going in at the same time. Tons of damage being done to MIBR, and there you go. Nip's guns on attack, hitting their marks. Lukin and Rayduck, the last two are left alive. Diffuser being carried on in. Down goes Psycho. Lukid still on this rampage. Diffuser being planted. Rayduct can see him. You just need to wait. There you go. Save time. And the Diffuser is down. MIBR at the last second because of Nip not watching the lobby. They stopped the Diffuser at the last second. And MIBR again goes to match point.
They stole the round from the hands of NIP. That was their round to win, right? They clawed their way back throughout the round. They lost the opening peak for the first time since start or going to that attack and starting side. And now, well, you see it here. Redot makes his way on through, gets the injury. Another one more to follow, and oh boy, MIBR. There was a round to win. That's the one to do it. Now you're on the attacking side. NIP, they have to show they can do the same thing. Somehow win. The only defending side that they will get in OT. This is do or die for NIP. And if they manage to do it, they get to go back on attack for the very final round of 7-7 scoreline. But first we gotta get there. Psycho 6 picking from Goyo to Goyo, then to the Legion. This speaks to NIP wanting to get out of the map, deny entries as they did the last time around, right? You're basically making MIBR take all their time and utility, just like MIBR did the previous round, but, well, NIP, they've been better at it so far. Their defenses looked arguably better than that of MIBR when they were on the defensive side themselves, and they're going to Bar. Again, until that last round of Kitchen, Bar was the only bomb site to have found success, and NIP did it first, and they want to do it again.
What a tense moment here. Both teams defending bars twice. They have a 50-50 win rate.
Yeah.
One successful win on attack for MIBR, then Nip wins on defense on this bomb site. Nip wins on attack, and then the only round that MIBR won was here again back in round number 10. With the way that this is, a single round victory for MIBR is excellent.
Yep.
As long as this remains a 50-50 coin toss of a bomb site, MIBR are in a significantly better spot in this round than what comes next. Because if that's the case, Nip will have pulled off what is an unbelievable comeback in this map, and then Bank will be our third decider between these two teams. MIBR is a younger team. They've had success before. They finished in the top 4 of SI, if you recall, but it was Nip who knocked them out. This is as much of a revenge match as you're going to get. So, we'll see exactly what they can do. Or Nip didn't knock them out, knocked them down, I believe, to the lower bracket. It was TSM who knocked them out. But it was Nip who won that best of 3 at SI last year. So this is very much a revenge match still.
Yeah, not just that, but I mean, we always speak about the domestic matchups. These teams know each other so well, and they all want that Latin victory. Of course, I do think that Latin is a region. They're just happy if their region can end up winning the entire thing. But of course, each and every single player wants their team to be the one to get that victory ultimately. MIBR, much like NIP, playing a little bit slower here in OT. It's a different kind of ball game once you're here because the stress is higher, the pressure is on, and one mistake is going to really cost you now. In the beginning round, well, it's the first one. We can lose the first one, that's fine. But now, well, if you lose, you're in for a really bad future. Of course, MIBR, they got more room for error because they get one more round even if they lose. But NIP, this is do or die. This is it. Moosey breaking that hatch in security. He loves to open it up and play on this top white stairs inside of security.
He usually does it on the Oryx, though, but in this time, it's on the Malusi, as you said. So impacts instead of the Bailiff in hand. Malusi, not as versatile in the roam as I think you could say from Oryx. All that is happening off-site, and Pino's playing this small angle. This is a very good spot for him to be in. Some of those grenades get tossed into service. Still waiting. More getting tossed in, this time from the kitchen window. breaking through that utility. Fellapox knows exactly what he needs to do. He's done this before. He walks right in. There they go. They catch off onto Pino. Now Raps is down for the count. Psycho still inside of the bathroom. Heading back into the courtyard. They'll circle in on Rayduck, spamming away the Nomad of Falls, so strong, leveling up. And there's MIBR cleaning up Ninjas in Pyjamas. Kamikaze can do nothing. Julio well off site. This is their SI, gone in the blink of an eye, unless Julio can clutch in a 1v3. Diffuser in the hands of Fellapox. They know where he is, and they kill him just as they've killed the chances of a repeat performance. The defending world champions are out at SI. MIBR a clean 2-0 over their fellow countrymen Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Oh, you see it there, the loss